Hi, we're Dwellr, your one-stop platform for short-term rental property management. Hi, I'm Victoria. I took on the role as front-end engineer and project task manager. I was responsible for the UI of the property dashboard, as well as the vendor messaging and the booking workflow, the tax document UI, image uploading, and the email reply workflow.
Hi, I'm Nicole Mamuzic, and I worked as a full stack engineer with a focus on the front end and DevOps. I built the revenue dashboard, worked on the calendar and vendor booking workflow, and implemented the AI generated emailing system. I also set up the CI/CD pipeline and handled deployment to AWS.
Hi, I'm Max Terranova. I took on the role as a backend engineer as well as the cloud infrastructure engineer for our team. I developed the backend architecture as well as the API for Dwellr. I created the environment for AWS as well as the environment for our EC2 instance and our RDS database all in AWS. I created the local development environment for all of our devs to use, as well as the iCal data integration for our product.
Hi, I'm Sydney Lundberg, and I was the database architect and the AI integration developer. I focused on the database schema design, setting up the AI assistants, and adding guardrails, creating the inbox messaging user interface, and the tax document page as well.
Once a property manager logs in to our web app, this is what they see for the main dashboard. Here you can see two properties they've already added into their account, the Seaside Bungalow and this Canyon Retreat. There is a navigation bar at the top, as well as quick statistics under this dashboard section. To add a new property with an iCal link, a property manager clicks this button and enters in their iCal link they get from Airbnb or Vrbo. They can select choose a file to add an image to their property, like so. And you can see that this property image is added and it's here in our dashboard section with the next booking and which guest it has booked it. We can see that these things updated, and then we can see our bookings in the calendar page. The pink is for Airbnb, bookings on Airbnb, and then the blue is for bookings on Vrbo. We can see that we have a vendor service in here. This is like a laundry service right here. And we can switch between all properties, just one of the properties, to keep that organized. This is the vendor page. Right now I can tell I've already entered two vendor services, a plumbing one and a mock laundry service. I can schedule a new vendor service by selecting which property I want it for. So I'm going to do a cleaning for the Sunset House, and I'm going to, so like this will be the plumbing service actually, and I'm going to have it be on the 25th and at 2:15 p.m. And then I'm going to select the service that I want and review and send request. This will pop up with a email that it generated. If I'm not satisfied with how this email sounds, I can give feedback and then have it regenerate this email. Like I can make it shorter or friendlier, or enter in any other information I think it needs. If I feel it needs more information, I'll just click regenerate. Otherwise, I'll just do approve and send. And then this will actually send an email to the email address selected when creating that vendor. To make a new vendor, it just looks like so. And I'm not going to do that here, but I can see in my inbox page that for this plumbing service for this Sunset House, it is here in this messaging portal. I can also see a past conversation I've had with this laundry service, and when the person actually responded, I can see that response in this window as well. This is the documents page. It has two required tax documents for each property that you can view or view and then download. And then you can also upload any of your own documents using this button. There's also an AI tax assistant feature, so you can ask specific questions about other tax documents your property may need depending on what state or city it is listed in. This is the revenue page. It has revenue data for all those properties you have loaded into the system. You can select which properties you want to see this graph for. You can export it. It has a quick table of gross income and gross after fees, and it also has a AI feature where you can ask about any tax related questions. So you could ask how well your property has been doing in the last month, for example. And it will give us a good breakdown of how much money that property has made based on this question that I just entered. Yeah, and then there's just a quick profile page where you can edit your name or log out and then sign out if you wish. And yeah, this is our fully functioning web app.
Managing rentals across multiple platforms is time-consuming and often manual. This leads to double bookings, scheduling issues, and lost revenue. And existing tools are usually disconnected, expensive, or too complex. This is where Dwellr comes in. Dwellr is a short-term rental management platform designed for individual property owners and small managers. Our goal is to simplify day-to-day operations by bringing everything into one place. We do this through features like a cross-platform calendar to keep bookings in sync, vendor scheduling, and communication tools, revenue tracking for performance insights, and tax document assistance to help with organization and reporting.
Here we're looking at key stakeholders and users of our platform. First, our primary users are property owners and small property management companies. These are the people who will be using the platform most directly to manage their properties, track operations, and stay organized. Next, we have our secondary users, which include service providers like cleaners, maintenance workers, laundry services, and more. While they don't use the platform as heavily, they play a critical role in day-to-day operations and interact with it for scheduling and task coordination. Finally, we have our indirect users, such as guest and rental platforms like Airbnb or Vrbo. These users don't interact with the system directly, but they are still impacted by how well everything runs behind the scenes.
Now I'll walk through the system design and utilize technologies for Dwellr. Starting on the left, we have our users, hosts, and renters interacting with the platform through the web app. The front end is built with React Invite, which gives us a responsive interface and fast performance. At this layer, we manage UI rendering, page navigation, and user interactions, while also handling authenticated flows for protected features. For communication between front end and back end, we use Axios to send API requests. Authentication is based off of JOT, so once users are signed in, requests include secure token-based identity and access control. In the middle, we have the Fast API backend, which is the core of the application. This layer handles requests, validation, authorization, and business logic for key workflows across the platform. Fast API serves as a central point where front-end actions are translated to reliable back-end operations. A major design choice is separating the immediate API responses from longer-running work. If something needs to happen immediately, Fast API processes and returns the response right away. If a task is heavier or doesn't need to block the user, like notifications, scheduled operations, or AI-related processing, it is delegated to our backend processing layer. This keeps the app fast and improves scalability as usage grows. On the right, we integrate with external services that extend core functionality. We use Google OAuth 2 for secure social login and identity handling, SendGrid for transactional emails, and OpenAI for AI-powered features in the product. The full request path is straightforward. The user interacts with the React front end. The front end sends authenticated requests to the Fast API. API executes business logic and returns a result or triggers the background jobs, and those jobs connect with services like OpenAI or SendGrid when needed.
Thank you from Team Dwellr.